Today is September 4th, 2024. September 4th, 2024. It's a Wednesday. It's 9:06 a.m. in the East Coast. I'm in Homestead, Florida, USA, south of Miami, north of Key Largo. The subject of this video is installing a remanufactured engine into my 1994 Chevy Astro van from Powertrain Products, and I made some good progress yesterday. I got a few things done, but today I'm trying to pick up where I left off yesterday, which is trying to install the spark plug wires. And as usual, I'm missing a few things, misplaced. So I'm just going to get the wires plugged up, and then I'll worry about the looms and all that stuff later. I got it okay on the I'm doing okay on the right bank. It's the left bank I'm missing, that loom and that loom. Those two things I'm missing. I have this one installed for the number 1 cylinder, but cylinders 3 and 5, I'm missing those. So I have to ferret that out, and I'm putting new split tubing on these spark plug wires, the ones that I'm replacing. I'm not replacing all of them right now. May do it later, but for now I just want to get this engine running, period, and then we'll worry about everything else later. But if I can't find these, I gotta come up with a part number for the left bank for the spark plug wire holders, except for number one I got. So after I mess with the spark plug wires, I'm going to try to ferret out whatever I'm missing in the way of engine sensors, and make sure I got the firing order right on the distributor cap as shown here in a clockwise rotation for the distributor. And so that's what I'm doing today. And once I get that done, I will work on setting the baseline timing physically, mechanically first. Have to find top dead center on number 1, and then do more with the electronic firing order a little bit later. But I don't want to try to start the engine just yet. And as I've said ad nauseum, I have to ferret out the threads on the upper plenum because I'm missing some stuff, and I don't know how I could miss it. I mean, I bagged and tagged everything, but I should have taken more photographs. Anyway, on to the next segment. Audience, thumbs up please, or shares if anything is useful information. And I'm doing this for the enthusiasts. I am not being paid if you watch my videos until my audience grows to 4,000, and I don't think I'll ever reach that mark. I'm got a little over 400 now, and wow, channel jumped like 120 subscribers since I started this project and putting it online. So apparently there is an audience for people that really wonder what they're paying for when they get an engine replaced by Jasper or Powertrain Products or somebody else, and what your professional automotive technician has to deal with to do that job. And I like doing my own work because I like getting into the weeds and the details, and I'm not as fastidious as some of my contemporaries. I know one guy that restores checkers. I don't know why, but hey, he likes doing it, so, and he's good at it. Oh boy, his work is immaculate. I've seen the pictures. My work, I'm more into function than aesthetics. Anyway, on to the next video segment. Enough of this talking, but this is what I'm going to try to get started on today before it starts raining again. Although they say the weather is improving. Yeah, that's in the forecast. We're down to 20% rain tomorrow. And tomorrow I need to put out some herbicide in the tropical fruit grove. Try to prevent. My grandfather used to call it a living green hell. Because this subtropical climate and everything grows. Thanks for watching. Okay, to redo the wire loom on the engine, I needed some heavy duty tape like what they came from the factory. So last night I was looking online for some friction tape, and all I could find was like 3/4 inch wide, and I needed like 2 inch. So while I was searching, something popped up that showed me wire loom tape for high temperature, for engine environments, and it described exactly what I needed, so I ordered that. It was like $8, and it's 2 inch wide, so that'll be here in a day or two. So again, I'm limited by lack of supplies until the stuff arrives. Boy, this project would have taken me a lot longer if it wasn't for online ordering. And years ago we talked about one day we'd have that kind of thing, and everybody laughed. They said, no, not in our lifetime, but technology is speeding up, and if you trust everything that you hear, the computers will tell you what to do very soon, whether it's what you want to do or not. They're going to tell you what to do. So anyway, I made a good living as electronics and electrical engineer and technology, especially when computers were hand built, all the way back to core memory, if anybody remembers that back that far. Anyway, on to the next segment. I have to study the manual a little more to get the routing for this coolant sensor to protect the wiring. Obviously it had something on here in the past, and this connector I assume goes to the alternator when it's mounted, and I'm going to paint up the timing marks with this fluorescent paint when I get TDC figured out and ferreted out. All the other cables seem to be reaching now. If they don't reach, you're doing something wrong, because they are really specific when they design this as to the exact length of these cables. And this one goes to the pellet on the snorkel when it's installed to tell the engine the temperature of the incoming air. And as far as, I got the #1 spark plug out, and I've got a connector here that's hanging that I'm not sure what that goes to just yet. It's a 1-pin something, so I've got to ferret that out yet. And then this goes to the air conditioning compressor, the clutch. So I am making progress, but requires one decision at a time. And they say we're going to have no rain tomorrow, so I need to do some farm work tomorrow. But anyway, I got a clamp here. I don't know where that goes to. Oops, I lost it. Anyway, it goes to the refrigerant tube. But I did find this keeper for the spark plug wires, and rationally, logically, stands to reason that this is for 3 wires, so it probably goes up here somewhere, however it goes. And Okay, yeah, it goes up on that stud, I'm pretty sure. Ouch. Or on that stud, and of course I don't have the nut, so doesn't make sense it would go on that stud because that doesn't have the right threads. It probably goes here somehow. Oh, come on, damn it. Ugh. Okay, and where does this go? Alright. Oh, this goes to the back of the compressor for the high pressure cutout switch. Anyway, as they say in Alice in Wonderland, curiouser and curiouser. I'm still looking to find the keeper for down here where that gold bolt is. So, but I'm tired of messing with these spark plug wires. I'm probably going to have to redo them anyway. I'm not happy with the length of them, so there's going to need further adjustments. So I think I'm going to stop messing with the spark plug wires and start doing the physical timing of the distributor. But before I do that, I'm going to show you that the oil pressure is good with the distributor. And then when I remove the distributor, I'll show you that the tools don't work. So that's my plan. And this spark plug separator for 3 wires that I was hunting and searching for, it was with the oil pressure sender. It was in the wrong bag. So, and all my spare oil senders are good, and that's a new one. I didn't know if the sender was bad, or, you know, I had one problem after trying to check the mechanical oil pressure, because my tester broke at the quick disconnect, and my prime tool wasn't making pressure, even though I thought it was, and I didn't know whether to trust the electronic oil pressure or not. So I had 3 or 4 things going on at once that caused a lot of confusion about the oil pressure on the old engine. But I confirmed that the number 6 rod was shot because of the physical play that was on the video that I showed. It just, you know, number 6 connecting rod bearing at the crankshaft failed and damaged the crankshaft. So that's what caused the failure. The old engine was lack of lubrication because of the hole in the valve cover, I think. Definitely had a big hole in the valve cover, and I should have fixed that a long time ago, but it's what happens when you ignore oil leaks. Bad things happen. So mechanics are real keen. That's their bread and butter, and they're good at it. They're good at fixing oil leaks. And you don't want to... I always have in the past operated engines with oil leaks, but it's a bad practice. It's a bad idea. On to the next video segment. Okay, ever since I've had the fire, I get real worried about having ignition in here. So I got the distributor unplugged, and probably ought to disable this too, just for good measure. And I got the fuel pump unplugged underneath the van, so can't get that loose. Anyway, you're gonna see we got oil pressure, and like I said, I got fire extinguishers at the ready anytime I get worried about such things. And I need to find that other spark plug thing. Anyway, turn the key on. Got 0 oil pressure. Battery's kind of low, but we're gonna crank it just to see what oil pressure we got. Okay, so you saw 40 psi, and I hear gurgling. It's probably the transmission fluid, because I don't have the coolant lines hooked up, and I got the transmission connected now. So I don't want to do that too much. I don't mind losing a little transmission fluid, but the stuff's expensive now, so Alright, next I'll take out the distributor and I will try my tools to see if they develop oil pressure, and I know they won't, but I'm just trying to prove this to people who doubt me, my veracity, whether I'm telling the truth or not. Why would I lie? Those tools are not expensive, but they don't work. So I'm trying to get one for this RPO L35 engine that does work. Anyway, on to the next segment. Okay, be very careful to remove the distributor carefully, cap, and those screws can drop out and fall down into the engine with the distributor removed, so beware. I actually did that myself when I replaced this distributor with a new distributor that I got from O'Reilly. And okay, with that out now, we'll see that we have no oil pressure using the tools. And I do have some transmission fluid that came out because I don't have the transmission cooler, and I could do a loop on that if I wanted to, but I'm not going to waste any time with that. I'm waiting for the new radiator to come in from Rock Auto, and before I install the radiator, I want to get the front end assembled. I want to get the power steering pump and the alternator and all that on, and then do the radiator and the transmission lines. And I don't even want to attempt to start this engine till I got it exactly the way I want it, because when I take shortcuts I make mistakes. I mean big mistakes. So I like to do things exactly as they should be done. And I had somebody on one of the groups say, why the hell are you bothering with this old van? And I'm like, well, I guess I like it. And I've owned it for a long time, and I shopped a long time before I bought it, and I still like it. And I know I could replace it very easily, a lot easier than doing this, but my subscriber numbers are going up on YouTube, and my Facebook groups for 3.7 liter Mercruiser marine engine and the 4L60E transmission and the Kelsey Hayes ABS, all those groups are gaining members like wildfire all of a sudden since I've started this video series. And I'm not trying to get a big audience, I'm just trying to help people that are like-minded like me, that don't want to buy a new vehicle every time you turn around and pay all that depreciation and make all the salespeople happy and the finance company's happy and everybody's happy except your wallet, your bank account, your checkbook. People today have way too much focus on things that aren't important, such as politics, and they need to worry about their checkbook and their wallet. And because they're not paying attention, they remain without resources that they could have if they managed their wealth better. And when I was doing KPOW, Kids and the Power of Work, for Miami-Dade County Public School as a volunteer from FAA, it was an FAA sponsored program, and I taught the lessons. I talked to 3rd and 5th graders about wealth management, and they said, I'm going to have wealth, and I said, yeah, everybody has some wealth, and it must be carefully managed, and the less you have, the better you have to be at managing it. And some people do so well by the time that they develop habits for management of their finances that you know, they do quite well over time. So, and that's without doing risky investments. I always invested in real estate because I knew that wasn't a risky investment. I knew it would always have value. And I first invested in real estate when I was 20 years old, and bought my first piece of real estate in 1977. I was saving up for it before 77, but when I was a single man, I knew I was going to need something sometime, so I bought real estate, and I think that was a good investment. It has been for me. So that said, we'll move on to the next segment. Well, I have to take that lie back. There actually is a difference between the tools. This one is from OEM Tools, and it has a skinny collar on it, whereas this one is from Brand X, online somewhere. I don't know where I got it. But let's try, I know OEM Tool doesn't work, so let's try Brand X. And you can see the difference between the lower parts, although the very bottom are the same. Those are both 15 millimeter. So we'll try the Brand X first and see if we get oil pressure. And I don't have to crank the engine for this, I just put the drill motor on it. Okay, I've turned it on, and the distributor goes clockwise, so the drill goes clockwise. This is what Brand X primer tool. Let's see what happens. Oh, we got oil pressure. Brand X is working. Holy moly. Okay, now that I know this, people, I'll share with you Brand X and the source. Now we'll change to the one I got from AutoZone, the OEM Tools. And there's a phone number on the box, so I'm going to be calling that number. The number on the website was some phone number you don't want to call, because once they get your number, they'll call you back and pester you to death trying to sell you stuff. So we will turn off the vehicle, and we will swap it out to the OEM and see what happens. Oh, I'm real happy. I got a tool that works to prime the engine. That's what I wanted. Okay, this is the OEM Tools engine oil primer tool, and the design is slightly different on it as far as the specs. So let's see what oil pressure we got with this. Oh, it's got oil pressure too. Well, but not much. Not as good as the other one. Okay. I've seen enough to say I don't like the OEM tool. It is developing some oil pressure, but not enough. So we'll turn off the vehicle, and I'm going to go back to the other tool because I want to make sure this one is well primed before I attempt to start it, because they have instructions in there saying you invalidate the warranty if you don't prime it. So I guess I may be the only one that reads the instructions. So on to the next segment. Now I'm going to have to look up the name of this tool, the one that works, but I'm going to prime it a bit more just for giggles and show you that it does work. The Brand X tool works pretty well to prime my engine oil before starting a new engine that's been remanufactured by Powertrain products. That should be enough to prime it. Get that oil going all through the engine. Lifters, mainly the lifters. Engines don't want to start if their hydraulic lifters don't have oil pressure. So now that I've proven this, I will continue to complain about the OEM tool not working properly because it's not compatible with, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it just doesn't work. And you can see that this is 20 millimeter and this is 15. But these both are the same diameter, it's just this one has a bigger skirt on it. And when you compare it with the tool that does work, you see that one's got a real big skirt on it. Same diameter, but it's still 15 millimeter, not 20. I thought it was the difference in the 20 millimeter was making the difference in the tools, but it wasn't. So trial and error is the word is empirical. It's an empirical test. Either works or it don't. Okay, now that I did that, I can now spend some time to find number 1 top dead center on number 1 cylinder, and we'll get into that, and then we'll set the distributor mechanically. Now this needs to point when it's number 1 TDC at the red mark here that I made on the other engine. When the plenum was in the upper plenum, the upper intake manifold was installed on the other engine, I marked it. So that's where she has to point, or if you're 180 out, it blows the muffler off. Pow! And that's what happened to me. So I needed a new muffler anyway, but didn't do it any good, and it scared me, made a big noise. So we will go on to the next segment. And audience, thank you for watching. Give me a thumbs up if anything interesting here, and share if you like. You can subscribe or drop out as you will. I don't think I'll ever get the audience I need to be monetized, which I'm told is 4,000, and I have 420. But I appreciate my subscribers. Thank you much. On to the next segment. Okay, this is the hero of the day. Proform, P-R-O-F-O-R-M, Proform, part number 66896. Chevy oil pump primer with bushing, V8, V6. This one developed good oil pressure when used on my RPO L35 engine. No problem. This one works great. The one from another company, not so good. I can say this one works from empirical testing. Proform, P-R-O-F-O-R-M, part number 66896. So note to hope this is a good tech tip. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Okay, I put the battery charger on here. This is a Schumacher model SC1280, I think. You can read that. The battery voltage was a little bit down, and this was new January 15, 2024 from Napa. So I'm going to put a battery load tester on here now that I've topped it off. And I like this charger because it works on both flooded cell and other types of batteries. Absorbed glass matte batteries are popular, but I'm a fan of flooded cell batteries, and I just don't think it's necessary for AGM or gel or what have you. I think a flooded cell battery works just fine, and get anything else, you're just spending more money, and you think it's better, but I don't see any reason for it. Anyway, I'm going to put a battery tester on here and a load tester, see what that says before I get into cranking the engine anymore. Okay, this is a Schumacher BT453 load tester, 135 amp rated. It gets really hot, so I got to do this and hold it away from anything. Okay, probably a good battery, fully charged. And it's getting hot back there, heating up. Still in the green. Okay, like I say, you want to be real careful doing this and don't short anything out. Whew, that thing is hot. So the battery's good. Okay, audience, you remember I put a extra lead going to the starter, and I've run a jumper to it and over here to this fused thing I crafted, fabricated, so I can crank the engine and find TDC without killing myself. And I'll show you when I touch it here, the battery, you'll see what happens. Doesn't look like I've got that harmonic balancer on there very good, does it? Okay, and I'm spewing transmission fluid, so I'm going to stop for now. But you see it does work. Okay, this remote starter switch has gone intermittent on me. It only starts or pulls in the starter solenoid half of the time, or every 10 times I try it. But I did check with the compression, and we got like 180 with a cold engine. And I don't know what's going on with this harmonic balancer. I need to take a look at that. And I got the iguana tearing up my fiberglass here. That's why I don't like iguanas, they're destructive. But I can find TDC when the needle jumps up. That's a compression stroke. Or I can just take off the gauge and feel it with my thumb when it's coming up. So we'll do that pretty soon here to find TDC. And I'm bleeding transmission fluid every time I do this, so I don't want to do this too much. Okay, there's two marks on this harmonic balancer. The first one, as you're going clockwise, is bogus. Don't know what it's for. This second one is the actual timing mark, and you can see it going into compression on the gauge when you turn it by hand. And I used a 5/8 of an inch long bar here to turn it over, and then I put some paint on it, and now I'll set the distributor inside once I put that right on TDC. I'll do that next while the paint's drying. It won't bother it. Now you see how there's a gap here at the bottom? I can't get it to go down unless I get in there with a screwdriver and rotate the oil pump. I want to line it up with the mark, but when I get it lined up with the oil pump where it does go down, it's off a little bit. As you see there, it's all the way down now, but it's off, and I need to come back like one tooth. So I got to get a long neck screwdriver, like really long, like 18 inches long, and put it down in there to turn that pump counterclockwise just a hair, so things line up for me. And that's another tech tip that maybe you give me a thumbs up for, maybe, or a share. But hang on while I get the screwdriver. Okay, I got this super long screwdriver with a 16-inch shaft length at Harbor Freight, and I wanted to cut off the handle, but this steel's too hard for my Sawzall to go through, and I'd have to use a something harder, like a grinding wheel or something, to cut that handle off. And it almost hits because it's too tall, but to get that to line up, and again, keep the screws from your distributor kept well away from the hole so you don't have an accident like I did. But if you look carefully down the hole with a good flashlight like this one, you might be able to see down there and see the pump on the milling pump, and turn it just a hair counterclockwise to get things to line up. So I'm going to do that next, and you see me doing this with the screwdriver, and the screwdriver is almost too long, as you see there. So I got to rotate this counterclockwise about 20 degrees to get it to line up. Okay, I did the rotation with the screwdriver, but since I have this oil primer tool and it doesn't have the gear that goes to the camshaft, I could have used either one to turn that, but I think it's turned to where it needs to be now. I eyeballed it, and I know the orientation of the shaft because this orientation here lines up with the rotor. So I know what it is even before I stick it down there. I know where it's going as far as the rotation. But I want to face this side out so I can get the plugs in it. That side towards the back of the engine, and then try to get this to go exactly where I want it to go. And the cap came off on me, the rotor. Okay, let's rotate it just a little bit more. And I bet you all in the audience didn't know all your mechanic and did this, huh? Gotta figure all this out or she don't run. And at the auto center that I normally do business with in Homestead, they got one guy there that does, all he does is engines. And with the other guy, all he does is air conditioning. So they specialize. And the guy that does engines, he's probably best at it. I think his name is Edmund. Okay, I can't get it to, oh, there it went. Okay, we're still off a little bit. It finally sat down, but it's not quite where I want it to be. So this time, instead of using the screwdriver, we'll use this tool. I said it was useless, but I guess it does have a use. Turn it just a little bit, just enough. Of course, this wants to fight me. It's in the way. The hold down clamp for, yeah. So now we will stick it in the hole again. And I had 180 psi on number 1, so that's good compression. Good. Let's try to get that to line up with the gear and then set down. It doesn't want to set down. So another crank. Nope, it won't set down. Damn it. Sheesh. Alright. Do it again. Fin again, begin again. Take the collar off this time. Don't need it. Alright, so turn it a little bit more. Fin again, begin again. Stab it back in there. You watch these TV shows, it all just magic. Turn the crank, it starts, yay! Fantasies. Fantasy Island, man. Fantasy Island. I don't know, it just doesn't want to go where I want it to. I went too far, I guess. And the reason you can't set it dead on is it wants to rotate as you engage it. So you gotta fiddle with it. It's fiddly. And it's gonna rain. I hear the thunder coming. I hear the sound of thunder. How far off I sat and wonder. Maybe I could count the seconds and run the math. We can't do that. That would show some ability to handle math. Oh, the light night moves with autumn closing in. So I'm going to have to look down the hole again and figure out how much I'm turning this. Is too much. Oh yeah, I see why. I'm off. I'm due west instead of being due south. So we'll put this in and we'll turn it back a little bit. And look again. See. Okay, it's like 1 o'clock there, which is probably not good, but we'll try it. 1 o'clock. I should have done that to begin with. Alright, so that one, it went in. Let's see where it does with this. Okay. Still doesn't want to go. Doesn't want to go to Kokomo in the Florida Keys. Oy, oy, oy. I would never make it as a singer. Good thing I did electronics. Electrical engineering. Couldn't be a comedian either. Can't do it. Alright, well, I need it to be like 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, and I want to rock. That looks like 12:30. It might work. Let's stab it again. Stab it, stab it, stab it. And on some of these engines, you gotta have an alignment tool when you install the oil pump, or you get this far and you find out it won't go in. And then you cry and say, oh no, I've got to pull the oil pan again. And use the alignment tool on the oil pump. Okay, it almost went. Alright, it went all the way down, but I'm still not where I want to be with the... I'm still not pointing where I want to be. I'm going to stop the camera for a minute. You get the idea. Okay, I finally got it on the mark. Through trial and error, got it where I want it to be, and the timing is actually set by electronically by turning it when the engine's running. Well, the engine won't be running for a while. I need to get sorted what's going on with the harmonic balancer. Probably going to have to take it off again and then try to put it back on. I may have damaged it somehow. May have to buy another one. Oh no. But for now, I got that. Now that nothing can fall down the hole, I can gently put on my distributor cap like I know what I'm doing, and have some confidence that it's okay. So I can also plumb the spark plug wires, but not going to do it right now because I need to take a break, a human being break. I've been at this a while and I'm sweating pretty good, pretty substantially. But all of this work has to be done by somebody when you hire a shop or hire an automotive technician to work on it. And I've learned a lot from the pros over the years by just talking to them, and sometimes they give me bad information, but like I had the guy tell me that I couldn't get the core, the condenser for this vehicle because it's a special one, and he's right, it is a special one, but I did find a source. We'll talk about that later. Much later when I'm working on the air conditioner. After I get the engine running, I'll get the air conditioner fixed. So that's job done. I've got the basic timing set for the mechanical side. Now the electronic side, you have to pull this connector apart to disable the control of the computer on the spark, on the timing. You have to pull that connector apart. Now on this 94 Astro van, it's a single connector and it's here behind the distributor. But on other General Motors vehicles, it's in the engine compartment on the driver's side. And it may even be on the passenger side on some of them. So beware. That's called setting the base timing. Is when you disable the electronics control of the spark by pulling that connector apart. So, tech tip again, ding ding ding. Thumbs up or share, whatever you like. But this is puzzling that this tool, and this one you can't take the collar off, but that tool versus this tool. This one works and this one no good. So, and I proved that in the prior segments. So at this point I think I can start to put the tools away and take a break for a little while. So people, I appreciate, I'm not trying to grow the biggest audience, I just want to play this for people who have an interest in these things, and down into the weeds too, interest level, and hope there's some useful information here for you. Thanks for watching. Well, guess what? The starter went out. All it does is go click, 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 click. and that's with the key or with the jumper wire or anything. So what caused that, who knows. But since I have to mess with the starter, there's a place in town on Chrome Avenue that does starter repairs, so take it to them. I had bought this starter not that long ago. It's probably still under warranty. I gotta look up my receipts, but she know it'll work, man. It just goes click click click. So I thought this was bad, but maybe it's not. I don't know. But I guess the next thing I really need to do is pull off that harmonic balancer with the puller and try to ferret out what's going on with that. So thanks for watching.